Hello and welcome to English Flow Podcast. I'm Alex, and today we have a special episode, a short, simple story you can use to practice speaking and shadowing. We'll listen slowly, learn a few useful words, and shadow together so your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence get stronger. Shadowing means you listen to someone speak, then repeat their words, copying tone, stress, and pace. It's one of the fastest ways to improve speaking and listening at the same time. So relax, follow the words on screen, and repeat after me when you see the pause. Don't worry about perfection. Focus on flow. Today's story is a condensed version of a classic adventure, Treasure Island, told simply so you can enjoy the story and practice at the same time. Ready? Let's begin. A long time ago, in a small village by the sea, there was a quiet inn called the Admiral Benbow. A boy named Jim Hawkins lived there with his parents. Life was peaceful. Few travelers stayed at the inn, and nothing much happened until one day an old sailor arrived. The sailor was large and rough. He had a deep scar on his face, and he seemed nervous most of the time. Every morning he walked up the hill near the sea and looked through a telescope. He looked out over the water as if he was waiting for someone. He drank rum and sang old sea songs, and the other guests felt uneasy around him. His name was Billy Bones. Billy Bones told Jim to watch for a man with one leg. He gave Jim a silver coin each month to keep an eye out. Jim did not understand why Billy was afraid, but he felt curious and a little worried for him. One day, a blind man named Pew came to the inn. Pew was frightening, and he gave Billy something called the black spot, a pirate warning that brought danger. Billy turned pale, and soon after, he fell down and died. His heart had simply given out. After Billy's death, Jim and his mother opened the sailor's small chest to collect the money he owed them. They found coins from many countries, and hidden among them, a map. A map that showed where a famous pirate, Captain Flint, had buried his treasure long ago. Jim took the map to Dr. Livesey and to Squire Trelawney. The three of them made a plan to sail to the island and search for the treasure. They hired a good ship, the Hispaniola, and found a captain called Captain Smollett, a fair and strict man who knew the sea well. Jim was allowed to go as a cabin boy, and he was very proud to join the crew. On the ship, one of the men was Long John Silver. He was the ship's cook, and he had only one leg. He walked with a wooden crutch and had a green parrot on his shoulder that kept saying, "Pieces of 8, pieces of 8." Silver was friendly and clever, and at first everyone liked him. He told funny stories and helped the crew. But Jim would later discover something terrible. One day, while hiding in a barrel, Jim overheard a secret. Silver and many of the crew were actually pirates. They planned to find the treasure, take the ship, and keep the gold for themselves. Jim felt scared, but he stayed quiet and listen to everything he could. Later, he told Captain Smollett and the others, and they realized the danger. The honest men prepared to defend themselves.
After many days at sea, the ship reached Treasure Island. The island was wild, covered with trees and rocks and secret caves. It looked peaceful, but Jim and his friends knew danger could come at any moment. Some of the crew went ashore at once. Jim walked into the forest and met a strange man named Ben Gunn. Ben had been a pirate once, but he had been left alone on the island. He had survived by eating berries and goats for 3 years. Ben was odd, but he was kind, and he told Jim an important secret. He had already found Captain Flint's treasure and hidden it in a safe place. Ben said he would help Jim and the others, but only if they promised to take him home after the adventure. Meanwhile, things grew worse. Long John Silver and his pirate friends took control of the ship and demanded the treasure map. The honest men moved into an old wooden house on the island to protect themselves and plan how to fight back. The pirates attacked with guns and swords, but the loyal men defended the house bravely. They refused to give up the map. Jim did something very brave. He took a small boat back to the Hispaniola, fought a dangerous pirate, and managed to control the ship, moving it to a safe place. Back at the house, Jim told his friends what he had done. They continued to defend themselves against the pirates. Silver tried to act friendly again, but Jim and the others no longer trusted him. In the end, the pirates dug for the treasure in the place they thought it was and found nothing. They had been tricked. Ben Gunn had already found the treasure and hidden it. Some pirates ran into the forest and were never seen again. Some were left behind. Some died. Long John Silver disappeared one night, taking a small bag of treasure with him, and was never seen again. The ship sailed back to England with Jim and his friends safe and rich. They carried chests full of gold, silver, and jewels. Jim had changed. The adventure had shown him danger and greed, but also bravery, friendship, and trust. He was no longer a boy. He had grown up. Now let's take a moment to practice some useful vocabulary from the story. I will say the word, give a short explanation, and then we will say the example together. Listen, then repeat. First phrase, by the sea. Near the ocean. Example, they built a small cottage by the sea. Repeat, they built a small cottage by the sea. Next word, inn. A small hotel, often cozy and quiet. Example, we stayed at an old inn during our trip. Repeat, we stayed at an old inn during our trip. Next, rough. Looking or behaving wild, untidy or tough. Example, the sailor looked rough and weary. Repeat, the sailor looked rough and weary. Next, scar. A mark left on the skin after an injury. Example, he had a scar on his cheek. Repeat, he had a scar on his cheek.
Next, nervous, feeling worried or anxious. Example, Jim felt nervous about the strange sailor. Repeat, Jim felt nervous about the strange sailor. Next phrase, watching for someone. Waiting and looking to see if a person will come. Example, she stood at the window watching for her friend. Repeat, she stood at the window watching for her friend. Next, keep an eye out to watch carefully. Example, keep an eye out for your phone. you lose it often. Repeat. Keep an eye out for your phone. Next, pale. If someone's face is very white because they are scared or sick. Example. He went pale when he saw the news. Repeat. He went pale when he saw the news. Next, collapse. To fall down suddenly from fear, shock, or tiredness. Example. He collapsed on the floor. Repeat. He collapsed on the floor. Next phrase. His heart simply gave out. A way to say his heart stopped because of fear or shock. Example. He was so frightened, his heart simply gave out. Repeat. He was so frightened, his heart simply gave out. Next word. Adventure. An exciting or dangerous journey. Example. Climbing the mountain was a great adventure. Repeat. Climbing the mountain was a great adventure. Next, voyage. A long journey by ship. Example. They went on a long voyage across the ocean. Repeat. They went on a long voyage across the ocean. Next, strict. Someone who follows rules and expects others to do the same. Example. The teacher was strict but fair. Repeat. The teacher was strict but fair. Next, take over the ship. To control the ship by force. Example. The pirates planned to take over the ship. Repeat. The pirates planned to take over the ship. Next phrase. Right away. Immediately, without waiting. Example. Come here right away. Repeat. Come here right away. Last verb. Walked off. To leave a place quietly or without speaking. Example. He didn't answer. He just walked off. Repeat. He didn't answer. He just walked off. Well done! Practicing these words in context helps you remember them faster. Try saying the examples again a little faster, copying my rhythm and tone. Now, one final shadowing exercise. I will read a short paragraph and then pause so you can repeat that paragraph out loud. Copy my stress and intonation as closely as you can. Listen. Jim stood at the window and watched the sea. He wanted to be brave, but he felt afraid inside. He took a deep breath and told himself to be strong. He would not give up. He would find the treasure and protect his friends. Pause now and repeat that paragraph out loud. Good. Try it one more time with more confidence. Excellent work. Shadowing stories like this help you improve naturally. You practice listening, speaking, and reading at the same time. Replay this episode as many times as you like. Each time you will notice small improvements in your pronunciation and rhythm. Thank you for joining me on English Flow Podcast. If you enjoyed this story and practice, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Keep using these shadowing techniques every day. Even 5 minutes makes a difference. Until next time, I'm Alex Calarde. Keep speaking, keep listening, and let English flow through you. Goodbye for now.